All right, so let's talk about this. The Baltimore Ravens, look, they came off a huge victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They needed a win to stay on top of the AFC North. They got it done. They seem to get the ball rolling a little bit on offense, running the ball better. Some young playmakers show up on the receiver and tight end position. So things look good for the Ravens. They didn't rest on their laurels, Miles. They made a big move right around the trade deadline that they're looking to really turn their season up another notch heading into the second half of the year. I know you have the specifics on that. Before I hand it over to you, Ravens fans, 8 games through the season, basically halfway through the 17-game season. We want to hear from you in the comment section below. Give us your MVP. And look, don't say Lamar Jackson because it's obvious you're probably your guy. Give us another guy, right? I'm thinking maybe throw us a Justin Tucker. Throw us a Linderbaum, the rookie. Give us a guy who you think is the MVP, but don't throw Lamar Jackson. That's too easy. Give us a real thoughtful decision. We know you guys can give it to us. Let us know in the comment section below. But Miles, what do you have out of Baltimore?
Yeah, Nick, and I just want to say there's a bunch of likely answers out there. So, keep
Very
your
nice.
options open. But Nick, the big move, obviously everyone has been sniffing around the trade deadline, saying that Baltimore gonna get a receiver. DJ Moore's name's thrown out there, Jerry Judy's name's thrown out there, and I will say, just because things move fast at the time of this video, that has not been what has happened. What has happened is if you can't have a receiver, get the next best option. And somewhere Baltimore has really been struggling is in the middle of the field. And who better to pick up than Roquan Smith from the Bears? Probably one of the best inside linebackers, off ball linebackers in the NFL at this point in time. This was an incredible move by the Ravens to, I feel like in the past, people always say things like, well, Ravens never made huge splash at the trade deadline. We always get older. You would expect the Deshaun Jackson move. Like, that's a Ravens move right there. Get an old receiver at the end of their lifespan, bring them in, try to squeeze the last juice out of them. No, we got a young player, Nick. We got a guy coming on the end of his rookie deal. He drafted back in 2018, so he's still got a lot of life left in him, and his best football is ahead of him. And this is a big time move in a position where Baltimore has really been struggling. Josh Bynes had been holding it down in the middle field for a while. He gets injured. Harrison has to come in, who hasn't been playing his best ball as well. And Queen, he does all right in the middle, and he's really been picking it up as of late. But he struggled to begin the season in the middle of the field. Last year, they even had to move him more of a weak side linebacker, and he got a lot more productive there as well. But bringing in Roquan Smith, Nick, that really bolsters the middle of this defense. And I am so excited to see how he comes in. He seems like the vocal leader of the Bears. He seems like that he was the presence of that defense. And I want to see what he can add to Baltimore's defense. I'm just really excited about this move, Nick, but I want to hear what you think about it as well.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, right? The popular wisdom is sometimes wrong, right? We've heard for weeks now that the Ravens' problem is they don't have enough playmakers at the wide receiver position, especially with the injuries with Bateman. They added Jackson, but obviously the Ravens fan base and a lot of the media around Baltimore, they're looking to get another guy. You mentioned DJ Moore, you mentioned Jerry Judy. But remember, Miles, the Ravens are 5-3, but their 3 losses were all second half blown double-digit leads. You can make a strong argument that the reason the Ravens aren't better and they're 5-3, they're first place in the division, they're pretty good, is not because of their lack of receiver playmaking ability. It's a lack of key defensive playmakers when they need it most. Right. And the fact of the matter is, the Ravens, of course, as they always tend to do, make a really smart move. They get a talented, elite level playmaker. This NFL's leading tackler. He's a guy who can intercept the ball, he can rush the passer, force fumbles, recover fumbles. He can do it all as a fantastic football player. They got him for a second round and a 5th round pick. That's a steal. This guy was an elite first round draft pick. He's an elite talent with elite production. And it's not just me saying this, Miles. If you got PFF, I think this was kind of jumping off the page at me a little bit when I read it for the first time. So the Ravens right now, according to PFF, are the 9th best team on offense in the NFL. Number 9, right? When you hear the narratives in the media, you're like, oh, they're terrible, right? Receivers not good. They got injuries. It's just Stanley missed times. This is a bad offense. That's not true. They're really good. They're really efficient. They're ranked number 9 in the NFL. What's their defense ranked, Miles? 15. Right? They're right around average. They need a little bit of boost. Their offense is carrying more weight than we think it is, and it's mainly a credit to Lamar Jackson. So I love this move here by the Ravens because the temptation would have been to maybe listen to the media, listen to all the pundits, listen to all the talking heads, and overpay for DJ Moore. The Panthers were reportedly looking for multiple high picks, at minimum a first-round draft pick. I don't think he's worth that. So instead, the Ravens do what they always do when it comes to whether it's a trade or a draft or whatever. They get a great player at a great price, and they address one of their biggest needs, addressing the defensive side of the football. Because frankly, Miles, if you look at this Ravens team, they're really 2 stops, 2 turnovers away, or 3 stops, 3 turnovers from being 7-1, 8-0. They had the Bills, a team everyone thinks is the best team in the NFL, totally on the ropes. They had the Dolphins totally on the ropes. They should have beaten the Giants, right? All they needed was one extra defensive playmaker in those games, and they probably win those football games. And guess what, Miles? They just got it in Roquan Smith.
Yeah, Nick. And it's like you said, the Ravens offense has been doing fine. And when they get healthy, it's going to be better. You got to think. Gus Edwards recently went down. J.K. Dobbins went down. Bateman's down. You got Duvernay. Duvernay's been doing pretty good. Mark Andrews went down last game. He's more than likely going to be back. And bringing up that, Isaiah Likely, big breakout game. A lot of weapons. Duvernay, incredible. There's
Brian
a lot of
Robinson
weapons.
stepping up.
Yeah, but this offense has been good, and I think when all the pieces are healthy, they're going to be great. And you look at the defensive side of the ball, Nick. David Ojabo, second-round draft pick, hasn't even played a snap this season so far. Marcus Williams has been injured. When he comes back, that's going to shore up the backside of this defensive secondary. Owe has been okay. Justin Houston has been a monster. Pierre Paul has contributed. Tyus Bowser is working his way back in. I'm not sure what his timetable is going to be back, and if they really need him to come back in and start right away. But he's going to be back. Ronnie Stanley's back on the offensive side of the ball. Nick, all I'm saying is injuries are the hindrance of the offense. The hole in the defense is something they need to replace. So I'm glad Baltimore, they know what they're doing. The front office, Eric DeCosta, they know what they're doing. They saw the biggest need. Receiver isn't the biggest need. The biggest need was probably the middle of the field. So Roquan Smith, genius move by Eric DeCosta.